G'day, welcome to Country Music World. I'm Mick.
And I'm Jay.
Today we've got a real special treat for you. As you can see, we have the beautiful Anna Rose out and about on the road from Tamworth.
From Tamworth.
From Tamworth, welcome.
Thank you.
To Country Music. I saw your Facebook post this morning saying I'm heading down to Country Music World headquarters.
That's it.
Yeah.
Sounded pretty good, Jay.
Well, it's a pretty impressive headquarters, boys. You know, you've done very well here.
I like it. How are you liking our weather?
Yeah. Next.
Not
next
liking
question.
not liking the tropical Queensland weather, hey?
Well, I'm melting, you know, but apart from that, it's much nicer than freezing your bum off in New South Wales.
I'm hearing that. Now, what are you doing? You're out and about? You've been away for a little while?
Yes, I've been on the road for 3 months. I left Tamworth when I was in 3 layers of clothing, and I got to Toowoomba and I chucked all my winter stuff in the back of the van. And,
sure.
Yeah.
And it's been summer sailing ever since.
Summer sailing ever since. I love it. Love it. Yeah.
Now, Anna, I'm going to pick your brain. So for the people that don't know here, Anna is, we've been friends for a long time, haven't we?
Yeah, long time.
I don't know, I mean,
20 years or so.
It'd have to be.
Easy.
It goes pretty quick, doesn't it? It sneaks up on you. Anna is a journalist. Is that the correct?
Oh, you could call me anything you like, mate.
Correct phrase for it?
Dinner. Journalist, writer, sub-editor. You could call me an author because I am writing a book.
A book?
Or a few.
All right. Now, so let's talk about Cap News. And because we've got Tamworth Country Music Capital News.
Yes.
And we've got the Daily Leader.
Yes.
Which is the Tamworth rag for the people that don't know. And how long have you been involved with Cap News? Let's start at Cap News.
Okay. Cap News I started writing for, golly, it must have been in the 90s, I think. Could have been in the 80s. Like my memory's not real flash. Shezzy asked me to, and I think Barry Harley's always got me on board to do stuff. Prior to that, my connection with Cap News was through Jazza, my late husband, Jazza Smith. And Jazza actually started Cap News as a monthly magazine, or a monthly newspaper as it was. It was the old tabloid newspaper. And that was, you know, the very early 80s. And that's when I became associated with Cap News through Jazza. And then the Northern Daily Leader, he started writing for them when he left Cap News. And, and when he left the Leader and he passed away in 87, I went there and Anne Newling gave me a job. I went to give her some material that was Jazz's that would have helped her or whoever put on the Battle of the Bush Bands the following year, and she went, well, here you are, you can have it.
You got a job?
Yes, gave me the job.
Just like
and she made me Beryl for 6 weeks.
Beryl?
So I was Beryl, the newsroom clerk, for 6 weeks. That was a scary, scary thing.
I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued about Beryl.
Beryl was a lady who lived and breathed the Northern Daily Leader newsroom for probably 30 years.
Okay.
And people were scared crapless of Beryl. Like, if you touched her ruler, you would die 1,000 deaths.
Really?
Don't ever touch her stapler and use it. You know, she was one of those scary people. But, you know, I was Beryl for 6 weeks, and I actually worked 7 days a week for those 6 weeks. Most people work 5 days or sometimes 6, but I worked 7 because I was trying to catch up with all of Beryl's work. And at the end of the 6 weeks, I was sure she was going to kill me because, anyway.
Now,
she didn't. I'm still here.
All right, so that was 87. That was 87, so that's 30 years ago next year.
Yeah.
So you were right with your estimate on numbers there.
Yeah, that's right.
So, gee whiz, we can... this interview's going to be a long one, isn't it?
We'll skip over a lot of stuff.
Yeah, no, we'll just get to the good saucy stuff, I reckon. Now, what do you think about... Yeah. So, all right, we'll probably throw these around a few at you here. The current climate of country music from an editorial standpoint or a journalist standpoint now, go back 30 years, has your workflow or the amount of work you have to do now, has it increased? Has it decreased, or is it the same?
Well, I think what happens now, social media plays a big part in people getting their message out. And for a journalist, it's very easy. You just log onto Facebook or you log onto Instagram or something, and you are going to find the information you need or get onto somebody's website. Whereas we didn't have all of those tools and resources years ago, and you were waiting on a press release turning up in the mail.
Snail trail.
You know, with photos. And oh dear, the photos have changed over the years too. It's a lot. That's right.
So it's a faster process.
Yeah, it is a faster process now.
And do you still find that you dig in as deep as you always have over 30 years, or do you not need to now because it's more accessible? As a general rule, I mean, once upon a time you'd never see someone in their house with the kids running around and at a pinnacle level. Now it's a regular occurrence, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's right. You do. You get so much more access these days.
Yeah, so with that in mind, do you think that your questions have changed?
No, look, I'm a very conversational writer. And I will have a conversation with someone like I'm having a conversation with you. And that's how... Somebody said to me once, oh, look, write some questions out for me and email them to me and we'll go from there. And I said, well, actually, in probably 25, 30 years... I don't think I've ever had a list of questions for anyone because I never know what I'm going to ask until the conversation turns that way.
I can understand why they do that, and at a certain, for our viewers here,
at a certain level,
for our viewers here, we actually do that. We flick out some questions and we to and fro, and just to make sure, because in saying that too, some of our artists specifically need the shaping the questions to aim them in to say, we can segue the lining of questions to say, this is our, we're about to relaunch this, or we're about to release this, or we're doing this, or we're doing that, and we have to somehow get the conversation to go there to keep it flowing. So I can understand that, but we aren't prepping Anna today. and we'll probably go through this unedited, so we all have to mind our language.
All right, okay. Well,
but we're going pretty good so far.
Look, we are, and I think the last person who actually asked me for a list of questions was Audrey All.
Okay.
Because I'd been over in America in, say, June, and Audrey passed away in August. Now, while I was over there, I said, she said, I'm getting a story in Cat News. And I went, oh, well, how come I'm not doing it? I want to be doing it. And she said, oh, no, Sue Jarvis is doing it, and, you won't need to. You can just enjoy your holiday here with me. So that was, I felt a bit ripped off, but I thought, no, I can live with that. And then it turned out when I got back, Sue went overseas and she could not do the interview. So I had to then do the interview, and that's when she asked me for the 20 questions or something, and I just went back. I went, it's not going to happen, darling. And so I just actually wrote her story from observation and from my previous knowledge of her career. I've always been a fan.
Audrey too, for the people that don't know, do your research back on Audrey All. She was a wonderful human, wasn't she? Great performer. Beautiful human,
I wrote the story. I wrote the story, Mickey, and I just said, this is it. This is what I've come up with. And she went, oh, my God, I love you.
But it's...
and that's...
Truth.
She changed very little in that story. And what went in, was what I wrote basically from up here and from my knowledge of the subject. And that's what I love about, having a bit of, having a few grey hairs up here.
There's nothing wrong with grey hairs.
You have, the runs on the board, and you have the knowledge of. You don't have to go back and say, well, where did you come from and how did it all start? Because you were probably around before they were.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
So it's fun.
Now I'm going to throw Jay in the deep end here because actually going straight off that point. This is a perfect example right there.
Swim or not?
Yeah, sink or swim, right, and exactly what you're talking about. Because again, for the guys that don't know, Jay just met Anna about 10 minutes ago outside that door, and I'm going to throw the next question to him. And this is the whole: does he have knowledge or not? Let's see how he goes.
All right. I did have some questions I've been thinking of. In particular, I was wondering, like, who would have been your favourite interviews over the years?
Oh,
you must have some that
I do have my favourites.
In particular.
Well...
And why?
Okay.
And then we're going to dig in and find out the worst
Well,
ones.
you won't even need the why when I tell you the who.
All right, give us the who.
Smokey Dawson.
Oh, Smokey,
He was
there you
my
go.
favourite
All
subject.
right.
My favourite subject. Another one along those lines was Tex Baines.
Wow.
Tex was the founder of the Banjo and Hillbilly Club in Melbourne. He was a beautiful man, like 5 foot tall if he was lucky, you know, but just the sweetest thing, and he had the greatest collection of country music memorabilia, and yeah, so people like that. I like the
You've
the
just
old
thrown us back
times.
50 years.
I
You
know,
realise
sorry,
that, right?
I'm old.
Jay be
you know.
sitting there going,
And you're going, who the heck's Tex Baines?
Okay, then.
But you knew who Smokey was, didn't you?
Yes, I know who Smokey was. But, yeah,
another more recent one, can I say, I love Harmony James.
She's great,
Harmony James is great.
What a good sound, too.
Yeah.
It was a cool sound.
She's totally original, and
All original.
what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
She's just amazing.
All right.
I love John O'Day too. When his first album, If Stones Could Talk, arrived on my desk, I thought, what is this about talking stones? And I'd never ever seen the stone ruins of houses, because they're all built out of stone out in the Flinders Ranges. Yeah. And it's just got to be seen to be believed. And when you're driving across, you know, the Flinders there, and you just want to stop and you want to go, oh, let's take a photo. You know, it's going to take me forever when I get that Rambling Rose over there.
I played Mildura Festival for years in the bands down at that festival, and the first time I come across Johnny, walked up on the stage, and I thought, oh yeah, who's this dude? What's he about? And he started to sing, and I was captivated with him. Yeah. The guy can sing.
He can sing.
And he writes beautiful songs.
The lyrics, it's like he's been reading your mail, you know, because he's so relatable, so relatable.
And he's just a real nice guy.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't, you know, a lot of people change, and you would know this too. You get them under the lights and the camera, and on goes their act, and then they go off the camera, and their act kind of leaves a little, but John O'Day's one of them guys that...
Same on stage as off.
Absolutely, absolutely. A lot like us, you know.
Yeah. Okay, whatever you say.
I'm pretty much the same. I'm pretty much the same all right. I don't think too many people argue with that. Now, so they were some good ones. What's some not so good ones?
Well, I don't know if we can really.
The Barry
names.
Crockers.
Yeah, what are the Barry Crockers you've
maybe
had?
we can name names.
Now you don't have to name and shame here.
As in a shocker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to name and shame here, but why would they be shockers?
Well, if somebody puts an album out and it is up for review,
yes,
you then put yourself out there in public, and you've got to be able to take it on the chin whether people love it or hate it, or in between. And it's not really pleasant to receive
a bad review?
anti-fan mail from somebody you've done a review on. And as a journalist, I've actually been in that position, which is why I don't really go much on writing reviews, because you just don't want to offend people, because I'm pretty honest.
Okay, for the people that don't know, how do you approach a review? What's a review? How does all this work? And so you get any artist just go on and release their product. Then what happens?
Do they generally send the CDs in for review?
Yeah, I'll get CDs sent to me, and you know, with the volume of CDs I was getting at one stage, I wasn't getting the chance to review all of them, but I would pick the eyes out of them and review them. And they were the ones that really grabbed me as being something a little bit different, because there's a lot of same stuff out there.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I like something that's different, and that's why I like Harmony James and John O'Days and people like that. Well, prime example, Ron Odgers down in Ayr.
Yep.
Fabulous bloke.
Yep.
He's recorded probably one album, and he's too darn lazy to get in and record another one. Oh.
Hi, Ron.
Hey, Ron.
Hello, Ronnie.
The thing is, Ron would probably agree with you there.
Yeah, he would. I think he would love to go back in the studio, and I was talking to Stevie Newton the other day, and he recorded Ron's previous album. And he went, oh, mate, he said, come back again. He said, I'd love to, but it's just the logistics, it's the money, it's the whole thing. And he's settled in Air and...
It's an expensive process recording.
It is.
A lot of people forget that, especially with independent artists, they don't have that big fistful of record label money. It's a very expensive process, and I mean... I know it here.
Mortgage their houses, don't they?
Yeah, I know it here in this studio that a lot of people come in and for some reason they're thinking all this stuff can be done for, I don't know where they get their figures from because I actually can't remember back in the 80s and 90s when I first started recording that it was that cheap back then either. It was still an expensive process. And I think the times have changed, but, there is people out there that can make cheaper music, but...
Yeah. But what a lot of people are doing too, and I know people that have done it. Marie Hodgson is a case there. She's gone over to Nashville to record because she found it was more economical for her to come up with the airfares, the accommodation, and I think for $5,000 US she gets an album made or something like that. And you try and make an album for $5,000 out here.
It's pretty sad.
Or 8 or 10 even.
Yeah.
And your choices are fairly, limited, aren't they?
Well, the quality is going to be the problem, That's going to be the problem. So, because look, and I mean, in saying that too, the musicians, I don't believe I should ever ask the musicians to take a cut. Because they're still doing their job great, which is why the music sounds amazing. So, and I don't know. We won't go too much into this one.
No, we won't. We could get into lots of trouble.
We probably will. Anyway, more about you. Because
I got one last point.
All right.
Oh yeah.
You should always remember that you get what you spend.
Yeah.
Oh, you do.
So,
you pay peanuts, you get monkeys.
Exactly.
Sure.
So if you want a really good sounding album, you're going to have to pay for it. End of story.
Yeah, end of story. Yeah. So is there anyone you got your eyes set on? Is there anyone other than Harmony, because we've already talked about her? Anyone else here that's tickling the NRO's fancy?
Well, a lot of people do. I just heard this guy the other day, William Crichton. Hadn't heard of him.
Okay, tell us about it. I haven't heard of him.
Well, he's got this thing called, I think it's 2,000 clicks or 4,000, so many thousand clicks.
Okay.
I just happened upon it. Somebody sent me an email about him.
Okay.
And I thought, I'm going to have a listen to this guy. And I watched his clip and I went, wow, that's different. And I really liked it, because that's what I mean, because
There's a prediction right
William Crichton, we're coming for you, brother. We don't know you, but we're going to find out.
And I'll tell you who else you should keep an eye on. Little Tasmanian Devil, Gina Timms. And I think you know Gina. She's back, baby.
She back?
She's been...
Love Gina Timms.
She's recording. And
that's exciting.
Yeah, so she's going to have a new album out for January.
Welcome back.
So you get her on country music.
Oh, I will. I love Gina Timms.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a name. That's a blast
Gina
from the
would
past.
love that. Yeah.
Oh, I love her.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
She's a great act, yeah.
It's exciting. Yeah. Now, what do you got in line for Tamworth 2017? What's on your agenda now? Are you taking leave? Are you going to walk around halfway through this festival and then everyone goes, la la, and you go, no, I'm done.
Yeah, well, I've done that for the last few years.
I know.
I've been so...
I know. Here you were, you left me and I needed you and you went, And I went, okay, well, let's drink and watch a band. And I think we did. That was cool.
We probably did, yes.
So what do you got planned for this year?
Well, I'm going back as a punter, which is great.
Yes.
I'm going back as a motorhoming punter because I've rented my house out in Tamworth and I'm driving around Australia in a motorhome, So I'm going to be one of those, grey nomad, or non-grey nomads.
Just a nomad.
Probably parked under the bridge or whatever. Can't say that. No,
you said it. It's on there.
I'm going to go and park in my cousin's yard and.
I reckon you probably know a couple of people.
I've got a few friends, and I said, "Have you got a spare PowerPoint?" Sure, we do.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
Well, that's it's interesting.
Yeah, so that's going to be an interesting festival for me.
So that'll be your first festival camping.
Yes, that will be.
Welcome to reality. She's about to going to get the dose of reality, whatever else has to deal with
I've got Winnie.
I've
got a beautiful shower. My shower is so hot.
Can we come and shower at your place?
You wouldn't fit in there. Sorry, it's like I have trouble fitting in there.
We could give it a go.
What was that you were saying about honesty?
I know, right? I know. We could at least try, couldn't we?
Well, how many Mick Lockharts can you fit in Anna Rose's shower? That would be interesting.
Half.
Half.
Maybe the back half. I'm not going to edit this either. It's just rolling. So wherever we go from this, you've got to be watching the back going, oh no, he's done this. All right, so what else you got, Jay?
What have I got?
Yep, see? Oh, I love that deer in the headlights. Did you see that, Edda?
No, I have got something. We were talking about this before. I'm new to this game, so interviewing people's a new thing to me.
And you do it very well too, Dom.
Well,
he's going pretty well, isn't he?
Yeah.
We're getting.
You're both. Oh, congratulations to you both. I'm loving the interview.
I've taught him everything I know. It took about a minute. No, but what I'm sort of seeing is that some people are really, really just on it with interviews. You know, they know they're on. They sort of seem to know what's coming next.
Yeah, some are well rehearsed.
Yeah. Is there any tips or advice you'd have for people that are being interviewed?
Well,
good question, man.
You got to be honest. That's because if you're not honest, people are going to see through you straight away. That's a really good point, to be honest.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know your own product, you know your subject, so you're not going to get anything wrong if you don't tell lies.
Yeah.
So that's number one. Know your product, know yourself, and the rest will take care of itself.
Going a little bit further on that one, what do you want to see when someone presents themselves that you don't know? Hi Anna Rose, Cap News, or the leader, whichever journo role they decide they're going to take. When you open their letter or you open their email, because a lot of it's EPKs nowadays, what is it you want to see before you hit delete because you couldn't be bothered wasting your time?
Well, I think to just be a little bit concise, because people are so busy these days, you do not want to get a bio that is 4 or 5 pages long, because by the time you get, even when you send somebody a text message, don't send them a short story or a large novel. You know, just keep it simple. And look,
200 lines in the bio?
I reckon
200
an
words?
A4 size page is ample for a bio.
Yep.
And even for, the biggies, that's what you can do, because you can cut it all down, and the rest of the stuff that isn't in the bio, you can talk about in the interview.
Exactly.
And when I have finished interviewing someone, what I normally say, now what should I have asked you that I didn't?
Yep. Ah, you notice that?
That's not a bad sort of thing. And often people will go, oh, well, you didn't ask me about that. And then that might open up a whole new line of questioning.
So that's a very subtle hint right there from the beautiful Anna Rose. So what question didn't we ask you during this interview that we should have? Because you were dropping a hint, right?
Yeah,
that's what that was?
Yeah, well, right. You could take it that way. You could ask me about the really famous people that I interviewed.
What would be some of the really famous people that you've interviewed, Anna?
Good question, Jake.
Hang on, I'm just going to reach down and
you asked.
pick that up, shall I? You want to pick that up, that name that she's about to drop? Huh?
Well,
here's a bit of name dropping here.
All right, okay.
All right, give it to us.
Most recently, the most beautiful lady, Loretta Lynn, over the phone.
You kidding me? Really?
I interviewed Loretta for Cap News, and I was beside myself.
That's awesome.
Beside myself.
And now, okay.
I was almost crying when I was waiting to interview her, because I've been such a huge fan for so long.
This is such a starstruck question. How cool was she? She cool?
She put me at ease. I was as nervous as I would have been for my very first interview. And she just made me, she's such a professional. Yeah. Oh, darling, you are such a sweet thing. And I'm going, oh my God, she called me sweet thing. She called me darling. This is really cool. How long did you talk to her? I had about 15 minutes or something on the phone. And
that's pretty good effort.
And it was really good.
Wow.
I think it was supposed to be about a 10-minute thing. And then the last question I asked her, she really got into it. And so she's just talking, and the girls come back. Now you're going to have to wrap that up, and she kept talking. Charley Pride did the same thing. I spoke to Charley Pride. He was wonderful, and then he invited me to his concert out here, and when he was coming down under, and Kenny Rogers went out the back of the entertainment centre.
Here she goes. Not going to stop now.
No. This is funny.
I know, right?
Here's David Woodward. Here's David Woodward, bless his heart, conducting the media conference.
There's another one.
And he said, "Okay, that's the last question." And I was sitting on the floor, cross-legged, notepad in hand, and Kenny Rogers was right there in front of me. I was just starstruck totally. And I went, oh, can I just ask one more question, please, Mr. Rogers? And he went, sure, what do you want to know, darling? And I was going, can you just tell me whatever happened to Lucille?
Oh.
He went, darling, he said, she's a grandma by now. He was lovely.
You mentioned Charley Pride. I remember as a young guy, and I was probably 10, 11, maybe something like that. So it's over 3 decades ago now. Time goes quick. But my mum and dad took me to Twin Towns on the Gold Coast to see Charley Pride. And I was as excited as I could. I might have been a little bit older, maybe 11 or 12. And I was so excited that I was going to get to see Charley Pride, and we got good tickets, and Mum and Dad hooked me up, which is pretty cool. Thank you, Mum and Dad. Still always remember this show. And it was so cool, and I've told this story so many times, but it was this charcoal black man walked out in this nappy sand white suit like you've never seen. It was just the most black and white thing you've ever seen. And he had diamonds. And
he's got a bit of bling.
He had some bling on him, and he walked out and he smiled, and it's like, look at this man, and it was the greatest concert he sang for a couple of hours. It was so cool, and I love everything about Charley Pride, and all of his history is so cool.
Yeah.
But at the end of that show, the thing that it changed me forever. It was one of my defining moments, and I have a few of them with Barry Thornton. But another one was owed to Charley Pride, and at the end of the show, he did this cool thing. He didn't go up to the booth to sit down and talk. He walked and he sat down on the front of the stage, and he threw his legs over the side of the stage, and we lined up from the back of the auditorium to the front, and people just worked their way down like that.
How wonderful.
So I said to my dad, who was saying, righto, we're going. I said, Dad, he's just there. Can we please line up, and I want to go and talk to this guy. And Dad said, okay, cool. So we will. So we lined up for about an hour, right? And it was 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night, and I was 11 or 12, but I was just, my eyes were this big, And every step we got closer and closer and closer to him, and he just became more real and more real. And I got my moment to talk to him, and he shook my hand, and I remember how soft his hands were, and he patted my hand like this. And all of a sudden, he picked me up and he sat him down next to him on the stage. He lifted me up because I was only a kid, And he sat me up there and he says, hey, young fella, he said, did you enjoy the concert? And I was just like, blah, 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 But thank you, Charley Pride, because that was a really, really cool moment. And that was probably one of the best moments, those moments in your life. That was Charley Pride. And not only did he talk to me, and he didn't treat me like a child, he was just a nice, lovely, lovely man, and it was really cool that he was talking to all these people, and he gave me 4 or 5 minutes of his time, and he just talked to me. Everyone else could wait. I love that about Charley Pride. Charley Pride is cool. I love Charley Pride.
My girlfriend Robbie and I went down to the concert, and she sang every single song because her dad was the biggest Charley Pride fan in the entire Western world. And at the end of the gig, we got to go across the road to his hotel and meet him.
Oh, nice.
Robin was just beside herself, totally, and as was I, because I'd spoken to him and I had a couple of copies of Cat News there. Just happened to bring them along, and here's the...
Nice.
So that was really nice.
And isn't it...
And he was so relaxed and so warm.
Isn't it great when you meet these people that you look up to, and you get your moment with them, and they're just... awesome, like Loretta Lynn. It's like, that's cool.
Amazing.
So what else you got? You got any other names you want to drop?
Oh,
you got more.
I can't be dropping any more,
Are you out of them? That's it?
No, I'm not out of them. I just don't want to.
You're not out of them. So, is there any other questions we should have asked you during this interview?
No. You could actually say, what are you doing going around Australia?
What are you doing going around Australia? Anna?
Well, funny you should ask that, Nick.
Yeah, it is funny.
I'm travelling around in my motorhome. I want to write my way around Australia. So if anybody out there has some places they think I should visit, people I should meet, I think they should get on my website, which is called annaroseramblings.com.au. Just tell me where you think I should be going, because I do want to cover every state and territory.
Great.
I'm heading down to Tassie in February for a month. I'll probably go to South Australia after that. And Pixie, for God's sake, I'm coming to Central Australia. Okay, I'm coming. All
Pixie
right?
Jenkins, is he still annoying you?
Oh, he's been annoying the crap out of me, saying, "Are you coming? Are you coming? You should be coming straight here."
Oh, he's a funny
Now, how
dude
could I
ever.
go to Alice Springs when it was freezing cold when I could be in sunny Queensland?
Enjoying the warm weather, which is a little different to how she described it to us. But, no, the weather's nice up here.
It is.
Shall we go and have a beer?
Yeah, I think so.
It's time,
It's
isn't
got to
it?
be beer o'clock.
5 o'clock somewhere, mate.
Yep.
It's beer o'clock.
Beer o'clock.
Well, is there anything else we should have asked you?
No.
So I'm good at
Get
this.
over it.
I'm good
Get
at this,
over it.
right? Have you noticed?
Stop
Maybe what
milking
sort of
it.
beer you
I know. You're going to laugh now because every interview after this, at the end of it, our last question will be, so is there anything else we should have asked? Anna Rose told us that. Anna Rose, it has been an absolute pleasure to sit here with you in the studio and pick your brain, and there's so much more of it that we want to get, but there's many moons coming around again, and we'll do this again, I'm certain. And thank you for coming to Country Music World Headquarters.
HQ.
Oh, mate.
I like that, Country Music World
It's a very
CMW
cool
HQ.
headquarters too.
I like that.
Very cool headquarters. You've done a great job here, boys.
It is
Well done.
nice. It is a pleasure to have known you for as long as I've known you, and I look forward to knowing you for that long again. And we're going to catch you in Tamworth when you're on holidays and we're not. And we'll sidle up beside you with a beer or red wine, and we'll sit down and we'll talk some industry
Sounds
news
good.
again, I reckon.
Sounds good.
Anna Rose,
Thank you very much for having me.
did you like that interview and want to see some more just like it? Then check them out right there.
We've got artist interviews. We check out the festivals that are happening in your area.
We'll have a look at the country music birthdays, and then we'll dive back into the history of Australian country music.
We've got the CMW Country Artist of the Week chart as voted by you. And we also have heaps of weekly prize giveaways.
So give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, because together we can make a difference in the country music world.